Scott Smith coming to you from the road. The College Caravan carries on, and we are on to our third stop. So we are about approaching the midway point of this College Caravan. So again, we go to 5 college football programs in the course of 5 days, and today Miami was the stop. So let's lay the land here. We are on I-75 heading back towards Tampa as we show you a little angle from our cameras. This is out the front, and here we go. Pretty smooth sailing at this point. Hopefully we're past all that evening traffic as we try to get up out of town, but we are still another 250 miles to go on this road trip. But as we get ready to discuss Miami for this second day of the Caravan, if you have comments, you have any questions, you want to jump into the live chat, feel free on Facebook. We are live on Facebook, the Fox Local app, and on YouTube as well. So again, the College Caravan, day number 2. Yesterday was UCF. Today, the Miami Hurricanes. This is a program that has, again, high expectations. The 4th year for head coach Mario Cristobal. And why wouldn't they have high expectations? They have a preseason ranking of top 10. They have one of the better transfer portal pickups in Carson Beck, the quarterback from Georgia, that put up some great numbers in his time there in Athens. And he comes down to South Florida to try to win another national championship here with these Canes. They are certainly loaded, and they feel like they have refilled that cupboard, so to speak, after even a great season last year. They won 10 games last season. They've been building each and every year. Earlier today, I had the opportunity to sit down with Mario Cristobal to get his impressions on what this year's team's looking like.
The blend has to be one that really fits. You know, we want to play a certain brand of football. We want to play at a certain level, and we want to make sure our roster is layered to keep getting better every single year, and one that we never have a crash at a particular position. That's difficult nowadays, you know, in college football. So we scour the high school ranks, the portal, overseas, junior college, the walk-on route. We do it the best way possible because, in essence, there is a little bit to the fact that sometimes you may find yourself coaching a one-year team when it's 35, 40, 45, 50 new bodies. We hadn't reached that from a scholarship standpoint, but, you know, in football, cyclical, and you never know when that's going to hit. So you just want to keep layering and making sure your depth is spread out well enough we could keep building.
The young guys that you've brought in, I mean, we're looking at guys that could make an immediate impact, and Moore and Tony. For as much as we talk about, you know, transfer guys hitting the ground running, how special are these young talents in your receiving corps? Because they have some big shoes to fill. You're missing some pieces offensively.
You know, we are missing some pieces, but we recruited well, and the competition right now is thick, and the guys know that. And this group, this wide receiver group, has been one of the more, from a personality and work ethic standpoint, as good as I've ever been around, maybe the best I've been around, because they just love to work. We got to go prove it. We're not going to rant and rave about them. They know that we have miles to go. We have to improve a ton, but they're showing it every single day in practice. For us, that lets us be very confident to continue to install at the rate we're installing and go forward with the offense and keep evolving, not scale back in any way, shape, or form.
So we talk about some of those receivers. They are missing their top 6 pass catchers from last year. So Xavier Restrepo leading the bunch, a longtime starter for this team. So how do you replenish? Well, they did that partially through the transfer portal. So they have a guy like C.J. Daniels. They brought him in, transfer from LSU. They have Keelan Marion from BYU, Tony Johnson from Cincinnati coming in. But we mentioned those 2 freshmen that are coming in that they think very highly of, and one of those is Malachi Tony, and he's just a stud. He's going to be a guy that I think probably starts for this team, slot receiver type of guy, big explosive play ability. Josh Moore, maybe their tallest receiver in the group. So they have some of those weapons. Who's throwing the ball? Well, it's Carson Beck, a guy that is experienced. He's been there and done that. And, you know, Cam Ward last year came in, again, his last year in college football, playing for the Canes, and they talked about his maturity, his chemistry, his big playability right out of the gates. I mean, this was something that you have to hit the ground running, and much of that can be seen in Carson Beck as well. So there are plenty of reasons as to why he came to the Canes. You know, and some of that was the opportunity to win and to win big, and they feel like they have the pieces around him. They have a great offensive line. NIL is of course a part of that in today's game, but he is coming back from Tommy John surgery. That, of course, hampered his 2024 season with the Bulldogs, but fully healthy now. So he's been throwing live since spring ball, and so he has certainly he whipped it around the practice field today, hitting his receivers. And there are expectations for him from the outside. I don't know that he feels any of that, but I know that they're excited to see what number 11 can do now in green and orange.
He's been exceptional. Carson has, as a competitor, as a teammate, as a worker. And what you see is, I mean, what you've seen on film for a couple of years now. He's got a ton of experience, and he really is thriving in this offense. And he's hungry for more. His appetite for improvement is off the charts. So he's another guy. I feel like he's just getting started. I wish we had a guy like him for several years, just like Cam. But a great camp for him, and we still got several days to keep preparing. We did our research on him. First, the person, but also the injury. And we knew that by the end of April, May, he'd be at full strength. And so he's been a full participant at full speed ever since the middle of May. And he's ramped up. When you combine that with his already logged reps and his experience, you have yourself a full speed player.
I think one of the big points that is an easy sell for this guy is the protection up front. We'll get to that momentarily. But let's look at the stats last year. So, I mean, these not far from pedestrian numbers. Great look at the beach, by the way. I mean, it's looking great outside. So 290 completions on 448 attempts, over 3,400 passing yards last year for the Bulldogs, 28 touchdowns. And, he's a guy that if you go back to this time last year, many were saying, hey, Carson Beck, probably your number one overall pick. Instead, it ended up being, kind of ironically, Cam Ward down in Miami. But now the hope is that he can use this as a springboard, much like Cam did in Coral Gables, to then launch his own professional career. So, again, he comes into a situation where I'm not sure protection-wise it gets much better because, man, they have two really strong tackles, maybe the best tackle duo on the offensive line. We got CC Mauinoa. Francisco Mauinoa is his actual name, but CC is what his coaches and players call him. On the other side, they have another guy towering, by the way, in Markel, and Markel Bell is 6'8", giant of a man. So he's the other tackle, your left tackle. They brought in TCU transfer James Brockmeyer. Great start there at center. Inez Cooper, again, stalwart guard for this team. So across the line, that is the bread and butter of any Mario Cristobal team. He's going to build first with the offensive line. And those guys look at it as they're privileged to be able to block for Carson Beck and put up big numbers offensively. Had a chance to sit down with CC earlier today to get his thoughts on this offensive line and the opportunity they have to protect Carson Beck.
When I heard that he committed to us, first thing I did was I texted him that I'm not going to let anybody touch him. Same thing that happened to Cam Ward. If I got to block for 10 seconds for him to throw a perfect pass, then I'm going to do it.
I got to think that, when he comes to a new situation, despite all the success he had at Georgia, that he wants to find some level of comfort here, right? Get to know the guys, maybe doesn't know a lot of the guys on the team when they come in. But for you, it's probably the same way, right? You want to know him. And how is that, building that chemistry, that relationship with your quarterback, been through, the spring and into now? Yeah, I mean, me and Carson, we always talk a lot of time. And, for me, I'm trying to get to know, what his type of job, does he like to step to this side more than this side, those type of stuff. And we learned that through our practice. And, being able to go out to dinner with him, it's been amazing. So the chemistry is there, I'll say.
We should mention the running back duo, Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lyle. So I feel like offensively, they put up huge. They were the number one offense in college football last year, and so the bar is high. But I feel like they're going to be right in step this year. They certainly have playmakers offensively. How about defensively? And that's where you have a little bit of change. So offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, he's back, but they replaced their DC. So Corey Heatherman comes in. He was the defensive coordinator last year for Minnesota. And Minnesota had a really good defense. I mean, they were 5th in total yards, and they were 9th in terms of scoring defense. And a lot of that has to do with the imprint that he put on that team. So he comes in here, and Mario Cristobal described him as an elite teacher, an elite human being, and he actually said that he makes organized people seem unorganized. That's the level of focus that he brings each and every day to the practice field, trying to scrap a claw to get his defense better, and they certainly do have playmakers that he gets to now have at his disposal. And Ruben Bain, edge rusher, they got him in all levels, but Heatherman is a guy that they feel really can start to get the best out of this defense, and if that defense can keep up with the offense, then they are in for quite the season. Take a listen to Heatherman.
We have guys that love football. We have guys that want to play well, and they're constantly in the building learning. They're constantly in the building working on their craft, working on technique, working on fundamentals, and it's exciting to kind of let them go. As we get down on the field, and now that they're getting more comfortable within the system and communicating and understanding when they have freedom, when they don't, to do certain things within a call, and seeing how fast we can play and how aggressive we can be on defense. I'm really excited to see what we're going to do every week this fall.
Heatherman spent much of his coaching career at the FCS level, and he said that, along the way, just like any good coach, you try to pick up little things here and there from guys that he worked with to kind of take it and own that. And he said that certainly has shaped him as a coach. But now he's getting an opportunity with a team that has national title hopes this year. As far as talent that he has to work with, probably hasn't coached as complete a talented team as what these Canes potentially have. So we talked about it a moment ago, but Ruben Bain is going to be your edge rusher, tough up front. Akeem Mesidor, some veteran presence up front. Get after the quarterback, and they should be a terror against opposing ACC quarterbacks this year. Linebacking core, again, you bring back guys that have some experience back there in Wesley Basaint and Raul Aguirre. So I think their front seven pretty solid. They did hit the transfer portal in the back end and brought in a guy like Xavier Lucas, who is going to probably slot into your starting cornerback position. He's from Wisconsin. And then O.J. Frederic should be one of the better ACC cornerback duos. In the back end, they have a safety in Zachariah Poyser that they like a lot. So defensively, can they take another step? Last year they ended giving up 30-plus points a game in 6 of their last 9 games. Despite starting strong, they finished, I believe, 44th total in defense last year. But some of what was dragged down was how they finished the season. So I think they want to finish a little bit stronger defensively. But a lot of promise there. And it starts early on for this team. I'm telling you, right out of the gates, the first month or so of the season is going to be a test, right? You want to schedule some really good games, and I know college football loves to schedule some heavyweight bouts in week 1 of the college football season, and we certainly have one coming to Miami. Let's take a look at the schedule for the Canes this season, because right out of the gates we got a top 10 matchup. So it's Notre Dame paying a visit, and that's going to be a Sunday night tilt. Notre Dame's very good, so they're 6th in the preseason polls. I think that's the coaches poll. They're 6th, and then Miami's 10 in both the coaches and the AP poll. Theo Cookman should be a win there. USF comes to town, and hey, we're heading to USF right now, so we're going to get the Bulls' take on that matchup, but that should be an interesting one. You got a rising Gators team as well, that also at home. So fortunately, it starts with a lot of home games. You jump into ACC play and you visit Tallahassee. You know that FSU is going to be a better team than we saw last year. They're in for a challenge there. Louisville, Stanford, at SMU, the defending ACC champs last year, should still be a very good team. Syracuse, that's going to be a revenge game. You got NC State, and then look out, because at the end of the season, we may tend to overlook a team like Virginia Tech or Pitt, but it's on the road, it's cold, it's late in the season. You got to keep your eye on the prize, right? So it's a challenging schedule. I see another potentially 10-win season out of this team. If they can hit double digits, especially what matters is what they do in the ACC, right? We saw that last year, that if you get any hiccups in the ACC, you want to be able to get into that playoff, and having that is certainly one of those things where if you take care of business in the ACC, you're going to make it into that 12-team playoff. But wanted to talk to the guys about that Notre Dame game, because there's some history in this series, and I know guys are looking forward to it. They try to stay focused, fall camp, one day at a time, right? One practice, one snap at a time. But you got a big date with the nation watching August 31st in your home stadium against Notre Dame. You got to be excited for that. So let's take a listen to that.
Notre Dame, that's a great program. Got a great head coach. It's a well-oiled machine over there. So we just got to come with the right mindset and play to what we've been coached to do. Nothing more than that. Everybody knows it's a great opportunity. Notre Dame, they're the runner-up national champs, so they coming with it, just like we coming with it.
You know, the first game is always a big impression. It's gonna see who we are. You know, because this game is pretty important. Because there was a runner-up on the championship game, and we wanted them to win. We wanted them to win the national championship, but fortunately, things didn't go their way. But now we get a chance to, prove ourselves.
Cece said, I don't like the nickname for this game because it's the old Catholics versus convicts, but that was a different era, of course, that has nothing to do with the current setup between these two teams. But you do have history, and I think that it's going to be a must-watch game. Obviously, week 1 of the season, you got a lot of those. You have, and we'll talk about it once we head up to Tallahassee. But FSU kicking off the season against Alabama. So that is the excitement of college football, and I think we got a taste of it today. So a lot of promise, a lot of excitement from what we're hearing down here in Miami about what is expected this year, and the bar was set high. Finish strong, right? That's the goal this year for the Canes, and the ACC is gonna be tough, as it always is, and some of these teams are gonna be a lot better. So what's the road look like for us? Well, we'll show you what the actual road looks like. Here we go. Let's take camera. Look at this. We can even kind of swing things around, give you maybe a little sunset view. Can we zoom in? Look at that. Hang on. Oh, there we go. It's beautiful. Are we on I-75, John Wright?
Alligator Alley.
We are in Alligator Alley. See if we can see any gators. Nope. So this is part of the fun toys that we get to play with on the road. But we are on our way back to Tampa as we get ready to visit with USF coming up tomorrow. So let's show you what the road looks like for us. So off we go, and it feels like in the graphic we're going a little bit faster than we actually are. Look at us speeding up to Tallahassee, visiting with Mike Norvell and the bunch, and then we end the College Caravan at the Swamp in Gainesville, visiting with Billy Napier and company. So, along the way, we get to sit down with each and every one of these head coaches. Talked yesterday with Scott Frost up in Orlando and UCF, and they're excited for the new era of the return of Scott Frost, and they have a ton of new players. And then we get to come down here today and sit in on practice and catch up with Mario Cristobal and these Miami Hurricanes. And again, top-ranked team in the state of Florida. As we hit up all these teams, from a national perspective, nobody thinks more highly of any individual team this year than Miami. I'll tell you what, though, there's some other good teams that are going to try to challenge them this year in the state, and Florida is one of those teams, the team we round out the season with. But tomorrow it is off to USF. So appreciate you guys joining us on the chat on Facebook. We have some viewers on there. We got YouTube and Fox Local each and every day as we round out and kind of cap off our coverage. We hop in the Caravan and we turn on the camera and we do this thing live. And feel free to ask questions, to root on your teams. Again, USF tomorrow, then up to FSU and UF to round things out. But it has been a lot of fun. John, have you been well hydrated? Snacks?
Of course.
It's one of the key things. You gotta have good snacks. And John likes to also pipe in some heavy metal tunes as well. That's why, sometimes I got to put my earbuds in when I'm sitting here riding in the passenger seat. But hey, we got to stay awake. We have some sometimes long nights, and this one will be one. We are still 3 hours and 14 minutes away from Tampa, and we'll be pulling in, and we got to practice bright and early over at USF tomorrow. But we are certainly looking forward to it. It has been a lot of fun. And we are not even halfway there yet. So the College Caravan, always happy to bring you extra coverage to get you ready for the big college football season, and we continue to do that. Again, we got a beautiful shot of the sunset. Before I let you go, let me see if we can get in. Let me zoom. Oh, look at that! It's like the Clearwater Beach Cam on Paul Delgado's weathercast. Look at that! Can't beat that. We're coming to you from the road. It is the College Caravan. Thank you guys once again for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Enjoy the Caravan.